So features and benefits of a cauldron. For starters, and to review, they're awesome, right? They just look great. So as opposed to a Solo Stove or a Traeger, or, and no, not to denigrate those brands, but this is not that. This is a piece of functional sculpture. It's a piece of artwork that goes into your yard and stays there. It does not look like a paint can on fire when it's burning, and the next day, you don't look at a bunch of blackened rocks and half-burnt logs. You've got the same beautiful piece of artwork in your yard that you had the day before. A couple of other things. The adjustable basin height. This basin can be raised and lowered whatever height you wish, simply by moving. There's a hook up here that holds this suspension chain. So if you want to drop it down, do, and if you want to bring it up, for example, if you're going to spend the afternoon grilling and you don't want to do this all day, lift it up 4 inches. But the most important thing about the adjustable basin height is you can move it exactly, match or work with whatever patio furniture your customer has. Quick word on patio furniture. A lot of people want to put Adirondack chairs around a cauldron. Please advise them not to do this. This is advice I give to landscape architects and designers 3 times a month. Lightweight, upright chairs go around a cauldron. And in brief, why that is because when the cauldron burns, everybody's there. Somebody's bringing drinks, somebody's scooting up to get their tootsies all warm into the fire, then backing up. Somebody's coming with appetizers. If you're sitting with your hips behind your knees and your shoulders behind your hips, none of that's possible. An upright chair lets you view the fire and it lets you move around quickly. So that upright chair can be as expensive as that customer wants to pay for, or as cheap as a sleeve of those green nylon ones that stack at the hardware store. But get a bunch of them and advise your clients in that way, and they'll be much happier. And the worst thing around a cauldron is a bench. Whatever you do, don't put a bench around there, and I'll let you intuit why after what I've just told you. Other than that, the grill. Grill design is something I'm really proud of. There have been at least 10 design iterations of this grill. It functions perfectly. I call it 60-40 design. You've got 60% of the grill available for use at any given time. If you need to add wood, adjust coals, whatever, there you go. And key, if you need to take out the charcoal grate out, you can do it without taking the grill off. So the burgers remain undisturbed should that be something that you need to do. The other main thing about Cowboy Cauldrons is they're made out of solid plate steel. And solid plate steel is a very different thing than sheet metal. For one, it's going to last. We've talked about that already. But for two, the way it functions is completely different. These things are made out of thick plate steel for very specific reasons. And one of them is it takes a lot of heat to begin to get a thermal pattern established in this much steel. So almost no matter how big a fire you put in here, you were never gonna get that instant 2nd degree burn that you get touching a motorcycle manifold or a cheap ass piece of sheet metal, because the expense and the thought went into this beforehand. These things are incredibly safe. As I said earlier, all of my kids and all my friends' kids have grown up around cauldrons. You can't fall into a cauldron, no matter how drunk you or your friends happen to be. Children instinctively know, hey, this is warm. They can feel the heat, and they're not gonna run up and touch this thing if it's too hot. If there's a fire raging up here, and believe me, you'll have a fire raging up here, your kids are gonna be back here. Same with your dogs. They're just not gonna get close because there's a real big penumbra of instinctive warning between you and danger. Really key. The other thing about the plate steel is it radiates and reflects heat in a way that sheet metal doesn't. So every cauldron has a 2-piece removable charcoal grate. We'll talk about that in a second. But people think, oh gosh, I need to put wood on top of that thing because it needs oxygen flow underneath. And in fact, even though that's intuitive, it's very wrong. Where the fire wants to live is about this far off of the apex of the curve at the base of the basin. And the reason for that is the heat is reflecting in from all sides to that spot. That's where the point of combustion wants to live, and that's where you should let your fire be. As a consequence, cauldrons burn incredibly efficiently, and they're very, very smoke-free. There is no such thing as a smokeless fire pit. No matter what the internet might have told you, it doesn't exist. I can promise you, you throw wet, stinky pine into a fire and you're gonna get big old smoke. But almost no matter what you put into Cowboy Cauldron, you're gonna get combustion at an incredibly high efficiency rate. And as a consequence, very little smoke.